earlier did a lesson on the comping of all blues, you guys asked me to do a follow-up tutorial on an all blues guitar lesson. So here's one with a lot of Miles Davis lines in it. Hi my dear jazz guitar friends all over the world, Sandra Sherman here. Greetings from Austria. I made a 2-chorus solo that catches the feeling of Miles Davis's playing. I'll explain everything slow and easy, note for note, and there is a slow tempo playthrough of the entire solo towards the end of this lesson. I've made tabs and backing tracks, which you can download from the link down below in the description box. Please also visit my lesson shop, Guitarversum.com, for more lesson material. And now, let's listen to my fast playthrough. We are in the original key of G major and we have a 12-bar blues and I played 2 choruses, so it's 24 bars in total. Here we go. Alright, here are the first 4 bars and I'm gonna play through them fast first, then I'll break it all down for you and explain it, and then I'll show it slowly again, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, we're in the key of G, actually G7, that's G Mixolydian or the C major scale with the focus tones of the G7 chord. All right, I start with an octave. We're guitarists, so let's play octaves. The root, G, on the 5th of the D and the 8th of the B string. I slide into them. You can play it hybrid with pick and the middle finger, or you play with the pick or the thumb. If you do that, you need to mute the G string and the E string, right? By touching it. So 1, 2, 3, and now I go to the F. That's the, here's the G7 chord. I always know my chords in that position, so I know this is a good tone. I go down here, 6 to 5, a pull-off, and I land on another chord tone. The D is included in the G7, so I land on this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then I go to the G again. Then I repeat that motif, but with a little variation. I slide into the G twice. Going over the C to the B, right? And this is also in the chord. See, next position, I know another chord. This is the 3rd of the chord, again, the B. And Miles emphasized the B in this song a lot, okay? So, at least on the G chord, 1, 2, 3, and is the passing note, the C in the scale of G Mixolydian, and landing again on the D, which is the 5th of the chord. 1, 2, 3, and a passing note in the key of G Mixo, and this is the ending note, the target note, the G7 for the G7. This is the 7th, the F. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and now I emphasize the upcoming G minor chord by playing the G minor pentatonic, actually the triad, G, B flat, and D. And I then slide, but that's the next phrase. So let me repeat everything at slow tempo. 1, 2, 3. right, and here's phrase number 2 for you, the next 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are now on G minor 6. Usually that's where the 4th chord is being played, and that would be a C7. And you can do that, but actually the bass is on G, which is C9 with G and bass, but you can hear the solo is a G Dorian solo and at that moment, right? It sounds so, it has that special Dorian character. Mellow sounding, sad sound, but with that 6th in there. And that's what Miles does. We slide up here, and I use that E because it is present in the entire solo of the original recording, in the studio recording. He goes up to the E when the change is to G minor, and that's the avoid note. It's the avoid note for Dorian. G Dorian is E, that's the 6th of the scale. The thing is, this is avoid note does not mean don't ever play it. Usually it means don't land on it. Miles did exactly that. He landed on the avoid note because that's also the only difference between Dorian and Aeolian, for example. So to outline that, and he played with moods, he did exactly that. He landed on the 6th. So that's the E up here on the 12th fret. 1, 2, then we play around in the G Dorian scale. 15th fret, back to F, E, D, C, and B flat. And now it's back to G7. And to tell the difference, he often went to B, and that's what I did in my solo too. I slide to the B note, which is the 3rd of the G7. I do a little motif now with that G7 chord, arpeggio. These are the arpeggio tones, B, G, F, and D, okay? This looks like a diamond shape, okay? And I play around this. Okay, I start on the B, G, F, G, and now I play the B flat. Because we can also play G minor pentatonic or G minor pentatonic or blues scale over the G7. So I played that flat third too. Gives it a more bluesy touch. Right? And back to the major. And then we go D, G, and D. Okay? Here's the entire phrase number 2 for you at slow tempo. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And here are the last 4 bars of the first chorus. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, we are now on the D7 sharp 9 chord. It's an alt chord. He uses the sharp 9 chord, and Miles plays the sharp 9, the flat 9, and the root a lot for this altered chord and the upcoming E flat altered chord. So let's do the same thing. We play the F here, the sharp 9. 1, 2, 3, then the root. 1, 2, and root, flat 9, sharp 9. Let's slide into the sharp 9 of the E flat 7 sharp 9 chord. Actually, this is a tritone substitute for the A chord, A7 chord, that leads us back to the D, right? Sharp 9 of E flat 7 sharp 9. 1, 2, 3, and now we're back to D7 sharp 9, going 1 to the left again. 1, 2, playing around with the flat and sharp 9. And now it's the G7 resolution. Let's glide down. Here is a G7 chord. And we take the 5th of the chord, the 3rd, and the root. That's one of his original licks that I stole. Right? That's just a G triad. Simple as that, but very effective because you clearly hear he outlines the chords. Now I gave it a little rest. 1, 2, 3. Do a little snap on from the 7th of the chord, which is the F, to the G, a little hammer, quiet, and now a little blues lick. Because we're guitarists, it's a blues song, right? So I go from the B flat and the D, I play them together, that's from the minor pentatonic, and I hammer to the major third of the chord. This is a G7 chord, right? From the minor to the major chord. Then I play the 5th of the G and B strings, go back, this time it's a fast snap, and the root, the 5 of the D. All right, and here is phrase number 3 at slow tempo. 1, 2, 3. Welcome to the second chorus. Here are the first 4 bars. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, we start on the G, on G7, right? So G is the root. 2, 3, a little snap to the F. So that's a pull-off. Back to the G, I plug it, it's not a hammer. And to the B. So I just outline the chord tones, just chord tones. And now I think G minor pentatonic with a little chromatic. I slide from the C sharp to the D, C, B flat, now going to the major. That's not part of the minor pentatonic, but you do that a lot. We had it down here with this thing, minor to major, 11th fret of the B string to the 12th. So, and the G, F, and the G again, right? Now I do a slide to F and G. That's my motif here at the beginning of the second chorus. This G, F, G thing. And another pull-off to the D. D is the 5th of the chord. And now I get a little more sophisticated and play in the G Mixolydian scale. I start on the E, F, D, and now I go in thirds. E, C, D, A, that's actually a 4th, B, G, and a little rest, F, D. So I land on chord tones again. Okay, that last one slower. And this is going to be the resolution note for the G minor for the next one. Okay, here is the entire phrase number 4 at slow tempo. 1, 2, 3. And here's phrase number 5, the next 4 bars. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, G minor again, and we emphasize the avoid note, the E. We had it up here, now we have it down here. 1, 2, 3, and now a little G minor, G, B flat on the 8th fret of the D, and a little play around 5 in the G Dorian scale. 5 of G, 7 and 8, right? Right? I'm thinking this triad, here's the G minor triad, that's what I have in mind, and I play around it. Now I go from G to a chromatic passing note, slide up to the A, F, G, and B flat. This here is from a chord inversion. That's a G minus 7 or B flat 6 chord. Right? I always see chords in front of me. You need to know your chords before you play solo, okay? Really, really super important. All right. Where are we? Here we go. And now I have a super nice arpeggio, G minor add 9 arpeggio. This is already the first one of it. We continue with the D, the G, and here is the 7th of the D string is the 9th of the chord, the A. Sliding to the flat 3rd of the chord, the 5th of the chord, and the root. And now to G7, to tell the difference to the G minor with the B flat in it, we now take the B again. Okay, that's what Mars does in this solo all the time. So I just kind of copy this idea. And I play around again with my motif. G, D, F, G, just using the chord tones of G7. And now I play a little around in the G mixer scale. F, E, D, A, B, G, and here's a passing tone, F sharp, that leads us to the F, which will be the next one, okay, the next phrase. But let me play it slow now. 1, 2, 3. Alright, and here are the last 4 bars of the song already. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Alright, the grande finale. Now we start on the D7 altered chord again, and the sharp 9 it was, that Miles loved so much. Then going over to the C. The E flat is the flat 9. The 3rd of the chord is the 7 of the B string. Sliding down. D, C, B, A. And now this is an enclosure. C, B, A is an enclosure from above, twice from above, once from below. We are now on E flat. It's the start of the E flat half tone, whole tone scale, which fits very nicely over this chord, over the altered chord. So we start, it's a symmetrical scale. 8th fret, 10th fret, 11th. Now the same with the middle finger. 8, 9, 11. Now we repeat that pattern. 8, 10, 11, and 8, 9, 11. Right? And I play 16th now. Ra-ta-ta-ta, ra-ta-ta-ta. And here I make a pull-off for the D7 altered again. That's the root, D. And then the C is the flat 7th. B flat is the flat 13 or passing note. That leads us back to the G7, the 3rd of the G7, the B. And our motif again. Right? B, G, D, F, G, all chord tones. B, G, that's where we land, all right? Mas landed on the root a lot in this song, so it's not a bad thing to land on the root, all right? Here is the last phrase at slow tempo. 1, 2, 3. Now, before I play the all blues solo at slow tempo for you, let me recommend to you the all blues comping lesson that I also have and the Miles Davis licks lesson that I have up here on my YouTube. Check him out, and now let's hear the solo at slow tempo. I hope you liked my all blues solo. If you do so, please give me a fat thumbs up. Please share the love and the knowledge, and I hope to see you next week. Servus, Baba.